Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the session. All right, so to begin with, there is a question, big question. Could you let us know which assignment? Yeah, assignments, as I said, friends, there are 8 assignments, if I'm not mistaken, that are shared across to you people. See what all things are being covered today. I'm assuming you will be able to do assignment 2 and 3. Those things will be covered. We are still at the scratching the Python programming capabilities. So I'm assuming it is 2 and 3. Yeah. So whatever things that are there in your assignment, if you feel that that is covered and if you feel that you can complete them, go ahead and complete them. How can downloaded code? How can to use downloaded code? I didn't understand that question, Pradeep. Yeah, that's what I said, right, Ashutosh? Please implement by using Python. Write an equation which relates to these things. When I divide, okay, how would you justify it? And then we are talking about division. So these are operators. We have already completed it, right? Operators is done. Variables and exceptional handling, did we complete this? Did we complete this? Or did we do it? No, right? Then look at the assignments, see what we have covered. Those things have to be attempted. That's what I've said. So module 3 and 2 should be completed. So you'll have more assignments next week. All right. So that's about assignments. Let's proceed with the session. All right. Yeah, Ibrahim, that's something you have to be right looking forward to. Let's start the session, and to begin with, we will be trying to revise things that we have done. So we have looked into the capabilities of Python, or I should say features. Then we looked into operators. I'll be revising again and again and again and again so that you will by heart them. And in operators, we have assignment operators. Then we have arithmetic operators, logical operators, comparison or relational operators, comparison or relational, identity. I am not able to write. Membership, and bitwise. These are different operators that we have seen. Then we looked at the data structures, data types. Okay, before that, data types, right? When you say data types, we'll have to start right from integers, float, character, and complex numbers. And when we talk about these data, Python handles them using a complex number. Generally, majority of your programming languages will have only array types. But in Python, we do have specific types like lists that we are going to discuss. We already discussed, we are revising that. And when we discussed about array, which is nothing but a collection of ordered data, we looked at one-dimensional array and two-dimensional arrays. And we compared this with vector, we compared this with matrix, but we also had matrix type as well. So here the length of the rows and columns will be constant for all. I mean, when you're creating that dimension for the matrix, you have to make sure that we have consistency, whereas array can have mixed size of rows and columns. So that's about matrix, which has fixed dimension or fixed size in the dimension. Next, coming to Python collections, the data types, the arrays that we are talking about, right? We call them as collections also. I'll be talking about new terminologies every day. So till now we discussed about data structures, data types, right? Then we all talked about arrays. These arrays or the collection, sequential collection of data in Python, I'm calling it a sequential collection, is handled by five or in fact 6, right? We broadly classify that into 5 types, including array, it is 6 types. So arrays we have already discussed. Then we have list, then we have tuple, then we have set, dictionaries, and then strings. Okay, we'll talk about strings a little later. We will try and compare these 4, right? We try to compare these 4. We've looked at list and tuple. We tried to do the comparison yesterday between these two. List is represented in square brackets, tuple is represented in this curve brackets, the regular brackets. That's one of the difference. List is ordered. Okay, let me take spider here and try to not required. Okay, we'll take this. So I will talk about lists and then I'll talk about tuples. So this is square brackets, this is regular brackets. Similarity is that both of them are, okay, one more difference. I would rather first write difference. Mutable, this is immutable. You cannot change, here you can change. Both of these are ordered data frames. You have a specific order given to them. That means you have index, right? You'll have index. Order or index. Okay. And another feature that you will have is duplicates are allowed. In both of them, duplicates are allowed. Okay. Mutable, immutable, this is one of the main difference between lists and tuples. Okay. Now we have also seen few of the operations in lists, right? We try to apply certain functionalities in our lists, and these operations that we have run, right, are basically indexing, I mean accessing, that's the first thing that we did. Then we looked into appending, extending, inserting, removing, right, altering the data. Those things are performed in lists. The primary difference between the operations that you cannot perform in tuples and can perform in lists is that anything that says change a value, right, of that object cannot be applied onto tuples, cannot be applied. It is not applicable on tuples, but it is applicable for your list because of immutability. Right? That's one of the major differences that we need to look at. There are a lot of built-in functions that we can also execute. I asked you people to explore that. Hope you have done that. Then we did tuples. As I said, tuples are immutable. You cannot change that, right? And Similar functions are applicable for your tuples as well. But the difference between this list and tuples, as I said, mutability and immutability. Remember that by heart. That. Okay. Okay. Next. We can also have nested lists. We can also have nested tuples. But remember, editing the tuples is not possible. That's the only thing which is different. You talk about multiple features, but it all boils down to that one difference between tuples and lists. Okay, that's something that we covered yesterday. Now we are going to talk about sets today. I will be talking about sets. So this is your nested list, nested tuple. So the next data type is sets. Now what is a set? Right, we need to basically try and understand what does a set mean. Now to begin with, right, we need to understand that set is also a collection of data, sequential data, ordered. But sorry, not ordered, sequential data. Set is also a sequential data, but it is unordered. There is no order to it. That means there is no index. No index to a value in set. Unindexed. Remember that. And another feature that we have in sets, which is apart, keeping it apart from lists or tuples, is that duplication is not allowed. Duplication not allowed. This is one of the primary differences that we need to look at with the set. Each element, each value is or must be unique. Okay, and it is immutable. Sets are immutable. Okay. I mean, okay, let me talk about the specific feature, okay? I mean, this is something you need to understand. It is mutable as well as immutable, okay? Mutable basically is a set. Okay, what happened? Yeah. Set is a mutable object, but the value of a set, that is immutable. Right? So what does that actually mean? We'll try and understand that by creating sets and understand, right, by manipulating it. As I said, there is no index for your sets. Remember that. Right? That means we will not be able to access any value directly in set. Okay? All right. Now sets are right, generally created by regular brackets, but you can also use this curly brackets. We also have a function called set specifically, which basically does this, right? So this is the two ways that you can create sets, but yeah, we'll predominantly use this particular function. Now let us create some sets, okay? A simple set. Okay, what are the commands? Let's go there. List we have done, tuples we are done, then we have to discuss about a set. So we will first create a set and then we'll try to add a value to the set. Then there is something called as frozen set. We'll also talk about that, and then we'll do few operations here. Okay, by removing, by checking the differences, right? Those things we will try and apply now. So that's about the sets, right? So let us deal with this. Okay. All right. So creation of a set. Let me do this. I would say S1 is equal to, I'll say set, this is a default syntax, set, and within set, I'm defining the object or the values of set as, let's say 1, comma 2, comma 3. This is a set. You can see it says set and it has 3 values, and you can see when I define this set using the regular brackets, it is defining the values as curly brackets. Okay, these are the values that you have, but if you see here in the value, it says curly brackets, the flower brackets, right? So that is by default, any immutable object will be put in that yeah, curly brackets as well. So list is in square brackets, tuple is in regular brackets, and set is in flower brackets. Remember that. Okay, so let me also create a set too, which basically is, let's say, string data. I'll say A comma B comma C. So A comma B comma C. All right. So I'm defining this as a set. I have 2 sets here, A, B, C, and yeah, this is your data. Now you're going to see set the output. You say S2 A, B, C. You say S1 1, 2, 3. Right? Now let us also add some content here. Okay. For S2, I want to add some value. So I can either say S2 is equals to, right, your set, but or also I can say S2 dot add. S2 add element, that's the regular bracket that you put, and let's say I'm adding a value D. So I'm adding a value. Remember I said set itself is mutable. Set is mutable. That means I can alter my set. So I've added a value, right? That means it's mutable. So I'm adding a value here, S2. I executed that. And if you see S2 here, that's your set, A, B, C, D. Okay, when you're printing it, it will get that. But if you see print of S2, when you do print of this S2, look at that. Do we have any order? C, D, B, C, B, D, A. There is no order. Remember, it is unordered, unindexed data. Though it is a sequential collection, we don't have any sequential number to that. So I'm just printing the values of S2 as is, then this is what you get. But when you say S2, it is printing in an order. Okay, so this is basically your sets, simple creation of sets. Okay, now on top of this, right, you might want to also do some kind of operations on sets, right? So let us try and see few operations. Maybe we'll try and update is also there. Let's try and update the value. So sets, you have seen add function. Similarly, I'm doing update function. So S2 dot update. You can see that as and how I'm typing, the functions are shown. And let's say I'm adding some content here. E comma F. Okay, but remember you have to put it in square brackets if you are trying to update this. Yeah. So S2 dot update will update your data. S2. If you want to add more than one value, then we generally do update. If you want to add a single value, then we say add. That is the difference here between update and add. Then in order to remove, we cannot use remove. Okay, let me say more than one value, then you use update. One value, use add. Then I'm trying to remove content. Now remove, right, can be used, right? If I say remove, we will try to remove the items. Let's say s2 dot remove, that's the syntax, and we will mention let's say one value, let's say f. I want to remove f. It will simply remove the object f from your data, right? So this way you can remove your values, right? This also, right, pop function can also be, I think it is used, but there is something called as discard, if I'm not mistaken. Discard can also be used. Let me just check. Discard, yes, we can use a discard function also along with remove function, right? This will also just remove a value, let's say e. If I do this, yep, discard is also there. Okay, these are different options that you have. Both are similar. Both will help you to remove, right? All right. Yeah. So that is basically the difference. Discard. I mean, these are the remove functions that we have, and we will try now to talk about what is a frozen set. Now, all this while we were applying operations which can alter the elements of your set, right? You're adding your set or removing the values from your set. Okay. Now, the problem with set is that if you want to update, let's say I have A, B, C, D, right? These are four objects that I have, four values I have in a set here. I want to update D. Can I do that? Can I do that if I want to update D? Yeah, friends, if I want to remove, sorry, if I want to update a single value, let's say D, can I do that? Okay, I have a question. Values mutable. Question? No. Why no? Okay, Dilip says yes. Don't we use square brackets? No, we are using regular brackets only. Because it can't, you can change D to something else, right? You can have D updated to a value which is not there here. You can update it as E. How do you get that immutability capture option? Remember, when I was talking about set, I told that it is unordered or unindexed. Now, if you want to access this for update, how do you access it if it does not have any index? Can you access D? Immutability is fine, but can we access D for change in the first place? No, right? So if you cannot access, how, forget about immutability feature in this, that comes next. Yeah, unindexed. That is the reason why the values within a set cannot be updated. Hence, each value that you are adding to a set becomes immutable. But set is an mutable object. That means you can add or remove values. All right. Yeah, that's basically your sets mutability and immutability feature. Right. Next, let's talk about something called as frozen set. Okay, there is something called as frozen set. Now, this frozen sets are very, I should say, important to discuss, because these frozen sets make sure that the set also becomes immutable. Till now we said that the sets are mutable, right? I mean, you can alter the sets. But how about fixing the values, right? So hence we say frozen sets. So when you say frozen, the values are fixed. You cannot alter those, right? The values of sets. Yep, remember that. So it becomes immutable. This becomes immutable. Whereas your regular sets, a regular sets is mutable. Okay. It's called as frozen because it is freeze. The values are freezed. It cannot be changed. Right? We cannot append, we cannot extend, we cannot update, right? Those things will not be possible. Add or remove that we did, those functions will not work. Now, in order to create a frozen set, we just put this keyword called frozen set. Rather than just saying set, we say frozen set. So let me show you that. Frozen sets. So I say fs1 is equal to, remember I have to use the keyword frozen set. Use frozen set, and then within that square brackets, within the bracket, you have to update your values using this. Okay, what happens if I type 4 here twice? What happens if I type 5 times? This frozen set as this one. It will create the data, but yes, it will have only 1, 2, 3, 4. If you see fs, it doesn't show the 4 twice. It shows the 4 only once. Duplications are not allowed. It doesn't throw error. It doesn't throw error. So let's say fs is equals to frozen set, and then let me add my values. Let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, this is the frozen set. I'm calling it as fs1. You can type fs1 here, and these are your frozen set. Right? You can see the type is frozen set. For regular set, it will be saying set. For frozen set, it clearly says it is frozen set. Now, how about trying to add a value to frozen set? We did add here, right? We did add. So same way, if I do frozen set 2 dot add, sorry, frozen set 1 dot add, and if I give a value, let's say I want to add a 6. So I've added right a value here. So if I say 6, what will happen? it will throw error. It will throw error. Frozen object has no attribute add. You cannot add, right? So these are certain functions which will not be applicable for your data, right? Yeah. All right. This is about your frozen set. Then what functions do we have? Okay, certain operations are there, right? So let's try and do these operations. We are creating null sets, and yeah, then we are adding those sets. Okay, let's type these things and try and do these operations here on Spider as well. So let us create two sets. So let me create two sets. I don't want to type in such a lengthy code, so I'm just creating these things. So I'm saying set 1, or let's say S1, S2. Empty sets, I'm creating two empty sets. And if you say print of these two sets, empty sets, you can see these are empty only. There is no value at all. Now to these values, to these sets, I'm trying to add certain number. What would happen when I do this? I'm adding for loop wherein I'm saying range of 1 to 10 and use set function to add a value to that S1. Initially it is null. Then what is happening? I'm creating a range of values which will start from 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It does not take 10. It's a range, right? So n minus 1 values will be taken. So your set 1 will be n minus 1 till n minus 1. That is from 1 till 9. Then let us also add another set. What I'm doing here, let me cross check. Okay, I'm adding similar values but a different range. So I'm going to create for loop again for I in range, let's say 3 till 11. Okay, I'll say 3 till 11. Yeah. So 3 till 11, and then I'll put colon. Then I'll say S2 dot add I. So if I execute this, then I would get set 2 created, and set 2 will have from 3 till 10. Numbers from 3 till 10, because I said 11, right? N minus 1 values will be there. Now on this particular set, I mean two sets, we will run certain operations. So we'll look into union operation, intersection operation, then relational operations or comparison operations, right? And we'll also see, right, certain differences also. Okay, we'll try and do this now. So union operation is OR gate. We are using OR gate here. So let me just type this. Okay, let me type it. So we are doing some set operations. So I'll say S3 is equals to S1 or S2. So this is okay. What will happen here? If I say S3, what would I get here? I'm doing union, right? OR gate means union. Remember, OR gate is nothing but union function. So this can also be written as S1 dot union of S2. Remember we did append and extend functions, similar to that. So when I do this, S1 union S2, it is looking at both the values and it is combining both the sets, but because of the duplications we have, it cannot take the values twice, right? It combines both the values, but only once. So you will have from 1 to 10. Now, how about having intersection? I'll say S1 intersection is AND operation or an AND gate. I'll say S2, this is intersection, and we will write S1 intersection S2. When I do this, my S4 will have only those unique values which are there in, only those duplicate values which are there in both, from 3 to 9. This is intersection operations on sets, right? Now, we can basically also try and do comparison operations, right? Next, after intersection, we have comparisons, greater than, less than, double equal to, right? So let us do that. So we do set, okay, we'll be using S3 and S4. Let's say S1 greater than S2. We'll try and do this first. Is S1 greater than S2? What would I get as an output? What is S1? S1 I have values from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Whereas S2 has values from 3 till 10. S1 has 9 objects. S2 has 8 objects. Is S1 greater than S2? Why am I getting false? I'm getting false. Now, if I have S2, okay, let me define my S2 again with 10 now. Now, if I do this, how come it is false? Why is it coming false? Strange. S2. Okay, my bad. Made it empty. Now we are doing this. Now if you say S2, yeah. Let us do the comparison. Now you see, it is true. Right? It is also looking at the values which are there in S1 and S2. In S2, though the number of values are less, the value which is 11 is also there, or 10 is also there, right? 10 was there, which is greater than what we have in S1. S1 we had maximum number as 9. So it is checking those values as well, right? So that's basically your comparison. Now, to keep things simpler, we will take S3, which is the concatenation of both the values, and S4, which is the intersection, right? Now, if I do S3 less than S4, what would I get? Yeah. it should give us false as a result. S3 is obviously greater than S4, right? The values which S3 have are, right, more. Magnitude wise also it is more. So when you're comparing, you get false here. We can also do double equal to, then we can also see greater than or less than, right? So those things can also be applied here. If I say S3 not equal to S4, then what would I get here? True. They're not equal, obviously, right? So that's basically your set operations, greater than, less than, double equal to. I rather than double equal to, I put not equal to. Because we have not discussed loops, I am not running this. But yeah, you can use if conditions to print the values. Okay. Next would be conditions. So once we complete this, we'll go to the conditions, then we will see all these things. Okay, next we have difference. Then we also have something called as disjoint. So let us try and execute this difference between S3 and S4. So I'll do S3 minus S4. What would I get? If I do subtraction between these S3 and S4, what would I get? Yeah. One comma two, okay. What do we have in S3? I have S3 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Whereas in S4, I have 3 till 9. When you are subtracting, you are removing those unique values. So you should get 1, 2, and 10. Exactly, friends. 1, 2, and 10. 1, 2, and 10. Then we've also seen disjoint function. Disjoint basically means, are there anything which is common between them or not? So if I say S3 dot disjoint S4, what would I get? Is S3 disjoint of S4? Why? It should be disjoint only, right? It should come. What did I miss? Disjoint. Syntax is wrong, is it? Okay, E is disjoint. Sorry, yeah, E is disjoint. I should always keep this in mind. E is disjoint of S4. Yeah. False. Disjoint means unique. But if you see S3 and S4, there are values which are in common between these two. So if I change the same code, but in place of S4, if I put S5, what would I get? I would get true. Why false again? Oh, I already have this, right? So let me change this. I'll say S4. Okay, let me put S4 and then do disjoint. If I say S4, then it should say true. Yeah. We can get true. Now try out, Priya. Try out. If set as combo of string, try out, Sundar. Whatever is there in the comment here. Now, all these doubts, as I said yesterday, record them and experiment. I cannot keep on doing things, friends. It's not possible, right? So you practice, you explore. All right. Yeah. All right. So let's proceed. Intersection is, come on, Sundar, what were you doing? Intersection basically is difference. And operator, what don't you know or and operator? Or means at least one is there, then you compare. Consider. Intersection means, or and operator means both should be there. Only then you'll consider. So what is common in both? That will be taken. All right, let's move on. We don't have much time. We have to complete strings. We have to complete dictionaries also. All right, so we will move on and we will try and apply or discuss now about dictionaries. Do we have okay, next is strings. Okay, we'll park strings. We'll first do dictionaries and then we'll come back to strings. All right. Okay, so removing all the values of set can be done using clear function, friends. Either you say clear or you can also, right, define set5 is equals to empty set. That can also be done. Yep. All right. We missed subset. Subset basically is verifying whether the value is part of it or not. Less than or greater than, superset or subset. That's basically what we did. Why did we miss? We did it right, Ajit. Greater than, less than, we did this. Yeah. All right. So let's move on and discuss about dictionaries. Okay. Now, dictionaries are another type, the fourth type of the data that we basically have to talk about, right? And these dictionaries are similar to your sets that we have, right? These are similar to our sets. It is also a collection of data, sequential data, but just like sets, these are also unordered. There will be no order to it. But these are indexed, unlike your sets. Sets do not have index, but these will have index. Once you have index, you can alter them, right? So these are mutable. These are mutable. But like sets, these will not allow duplicates. So these two are similar to sets and these two are similar to your lists. Dictionaries. And always remember, when we talk about dictionaries, these dictionaries will have key and value pair mapping. Okay, always remember that it will have key and value pair mapping. So each value that we have will be assigned to a specific value. It's like table. Okay, if you have a table data, this name or header that you are seeing will be your key, and these values, right, the content in the table will become your value. So if you have to refer to any of the values, contents, you will refer that using the key. So we say key and value pair, right? This is by default the key value pair format that we have in Python dictionaries. Okay. Now keys will be unique. Keys will be single element and it will always be one value. But for that key, you can have multiple values. And these values can be lists now, right? Or can be a tuple. Right? We can have right, integers or floats. We can pass those things to your key. Now, in order to create dictionaries, always remember you'll have flower brackets. This is the standard. Key value pairs are always created using this square brackets. And to keep keys and values separated, we use this colon symbol. If you put flower bracket, then this is your dictionary. Yep. Now remember, the keys are immutable. Here, you need to remember the keys are immutable. You cannot alter the keys. Okay. Right. So let us create dictionaries. So I'll come to dictionaries here. Yeah. So look at this. This is how we create the dictionaries. Colon, when you put, the value before the colon will become key. The value after the colon will become value. So let me create here. D1 is equal to, put a flower bracket. That automatically means you are creating a key. Now I put string, right? And then I'll not put age, okay? I'll put experience. I'll say 16 years. I don't want to reveal my age. Right, so this is a simple dictionary that we have created, right? All right, now this is one way to create a dictionary, but we also have another way to create a dictionary by using a keyword called dict, D-I-C-T, like sets we have, right? Let me show you that also. This is dictionary. You can say D1, and that's your key and value pair mapping. As I said, we can also do D2. I'll say dictionary of iterable objects, and you have the key and key value pair mapping, right? That's what we have to pass. So here, when you are defining your dictionary, right? Excuse me. You put, let's say, I'll put a square bracket. Okay, let me put a square bracket here. I'll remove all this. I'll say 1, comma, put a string, Python, right? I'll have to put a value here. 2, comma, a little tricky, 2, comma, August, right? And then we'll close the square bracket, and then we will close your regular bracket. Syntax error. What did I miss? Invalid syntax. What did I miss here? Okay. Yeah, got it. So this is, yeah, I typed it correctly. This is dictionary. This is another way to create dictionaries. You can see it says dictionary. Data type for both of them is dictionaries only, right? So this is another way to create the dictionaries, right? You can also put flower brackets, guys, there. You don't have to always put square brackets. You can also put flower brackets here and do that. You can experiment that. Okay. Now, how do we access the key and values? If I want to access the values which are assigned to the keys, let's say I will type D2 of 1. Look at that. D2 of 1. Key, I'm talking about key. It's not index, guys. I'm talking about 1. So if I want to access for D1, let's show you that. D1 square brackets, you put colon and name. Because it's a string, you're putting that. So it gives you the name. So we are putting value, key into that square bracket. And that would give us values. Right? Yeah. So this is basically how we add values. All right. Now, if you want to add, right, more values, right? Let's say I want to add more values, experience. I want to add more values to the experience. So you can always do that by doing this. I'll say D1 square brackets. I'll say experience is equal to 16, let's say 20 and 30. Some random numbers I'm assigning. Simple random numbers, integers. So now if you see D1 of experience and type it, you get 3 values. You just say D1 as is, you can see name, and for your this particular key, you have multiple values. So this is how we can create dictionaries with multiple values. Right. To delete a value, we will simply say del. Delete. What is the value that you want to delete? Let's say I will say D1 of, let's say, experience. If I do this, it is going to delete, right, the values. You can also say pop function, that will also be working here. So this is deleting that particular key. Got, right? You can also use pop function, friends, for deleting the values. So we looked at accessing dictionary values. This is how we access the dictionary values. If you want to update any value, you can do that. And adding new content can be done like this. So if I want to add new values to dictionary 1, I'll say D1 of, let's say, class, colon, Python. Is this correct value? Is this the right syntax? Let me check. Not the right value. What is the syntax? Okay, you have to put equal to, just like what we have done here. Forgot, my bad. Okay. This would add a new class to D1. I mean, new key and value pair mapping to D1. Right. So this is basically how we have the key and value pair mapping. There are a lot of things that you can do, like accessing the keys, accessing the values, all those things can be done, right? Yeah. I think you can do D1 dot keys if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it should give me all the keys. Yep, this is to access the keys. If you want values, then you'll say values. Hopefully this works. Oh yes. So this is how you access keys and values separately as well. You can do that. All right. Then you have update functions, right? All these additional functions would be there. All right. You can clear the values using clear function, or you can also use delete function to delete the value completely. All right. So this is about dictionaries. Then we have string functions, strings, very right. Fifth type, basically. Very interesting concept because we are dealing with character data now. We'll not talk about anything which is numeric in nature. Okay. Multiple values and say, we have seen that. How to print? Yeah, we have seen that also. Keys, practically when you use. These are all different data types, Sundar. When you use, why you use those things. I mean, it depends on, right? If you want to create a table where you have one value and multiple, one key and multiple values. Say, for example, you have a product. They're saying product. You might have the same name, but multiple products would be there, right? So in such cases, you will use this key value pair mapping. Defining structure to your value, creating a data sets. So this becomes one column for you, right? So yeah, these are all different data types that we will be using, manipulating, right, the data for. All right. All right, then some primary observations. Apologize if I missed the explanations. Yeah, Ibrahim, as I explained, this is one of the data types. Dictionaries are basically used to create key and value pair mapping. That's the primary thing. So you will have one key, a specific, fixed key. It's like a table, okay? When you talk about a table, this becomes one key and these are the values to those keys. So the interpretation is key and value pair mapping. We are doing those operations. When you do the operations on table, it will be done using these concepts only. Key value pair dictionary options only. Hash map and hashtag. I'm not sure about Java. I have zero knowledge in Java. Sorry. I almost flunked my exam. Glad that I had good friends right in the examination. I could pass. I always hated the Java class because of multiple reasons. One is, of course, the complexity of Java. The other one is, yeah, the lecturer. So, and just on a funnier side, I don't know what is hash table. Sorry, I cannot answer that question. Yeah. Can you say label encoding is using label encoding? Oh. What exactly you mean by label encoding, Ibrahim, here? I just want to understand. What do you mean by label encoding? And what is the application that you're talking about? When you not really, but yes. Okay, I understood now. Yeah, keys are like indexes. That's correct. Yeah. For a range of, you need to put an iteration. You cannot do that. Whereas you cannot run range function as a single line. You have to add multiple lines when you have a loop to execute it. When we discuss loops, I'll explain that part. You have to select all the entire loop and then execute. In Spider, did I execute? Where do I have that loop? Yeah, did I execute one line at a time here? Or did I select both the lines? One line, if you do, you get that error. You have to select both the lines together. Yeah. Yeah, Ibrahim, to answer your question exactly, any table that we work with, right, is internally working with your key value pair mapping only. Right? So yeah, typecasting, your label encoding, that is discretization, all those things are basically operations on your variables, right? So yeah, key value pair is basically what we take the advantage of. All right, we are going for a break now. Coming back, we will be discussing about strings, and time permits, we'll talk about loops as well, if loops as well. All right, so it's 9:12. Yeah, you know the standard timing. We'll come back at 9:20. All right, friends, let's proceed. Okay, so let's talk about strings now. Strings is another data type in the Python programming. Along with, we have lists, right, and tuples and sets and dictionaries, right? So strings is also a sequential collection of the data, but we are not talking about numbers, right? This all these four data types that we discussed, we were talking about numbers. But how about having, excuse me, having data which is only characters? That's strings for us, right? And any data which is represented in either double quotes, single quotes, or triple quotes will be treated as strings, right? Of course, the strings have to be manipulated on a numeric level. I mean, that is internal thing that we have for your data. I mean, Python execution engine will take care of that. But we, for humans, when we when we want to work with any of these string data, we can put them in the quotes, right? And as I said, you can put it in single quotes or double quotes or triple quotes. You just put a value in. Let me come here. You just put your values, whatever the values that you are having, right, in quotes, that will become string. Either you can put it in single quotes, double quotes, or triple quotes, right? You can either do that in any of those ways. Then you will get strings. Now, this type is string type. You can see str. S1 is string. Let me erase all this and let me execute this. You can see S1 is string. Now, if I have to access any specific value in the string, then it is indexed. Strings have indexes, okay? And indexing starts from 0, like what we have seen, right? We've already seen this. So if you want to access S1 and if you say 0, then this would give me the first letter, right? This is how we access the string values. Because it is indexed, you will be able to do this, right? Now that's your string operations to start with. Okay, now we will be doing certain manipulations on strings. Let's try and do that. Like integers, we will be playing around with this indexes. I will start from 0 if I put colon, and if I say 4, then I would get the values from 0, 1, 2, 3, right? I would get 0, 1, 2, 3, right? Similarly, I can do index. I would say 3 colon. 3 colon means it starts from index 3, 0, 1, 2, 3, right? It takes index 3 and prints till the last value. Yeah, it says rat. My name has an animal there, right? So all the values from the third index, upper limit, right? Now there is one interesting thing that you need to look at when we are looking into the indexing, right? That is reverse indexing. Interesting. Okay, we'll look into that here. So I say SHARAT. This is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are the index values, right? But strings or indexing can also be done in reverse order. And in reverse order, it doesn't start with 0, but it starts with -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6. So this is the reverse ordering of your index or reverse indexing. If you say S1 of -3, then you should get R. You're getting R, right? You can also put this way, colons. So I'll say S1 of, let's say, -1 colon, or I should say -4 colon -1. This should give me ARAT. Oh, sorry, -1 and -1, right? My bad. Index. Upper limit will not be considered. N -1. Right? So it will become your -2. N -1, right? -1 of -1, -2. So it will stop at A. This is how the reverse indexing can be used. So that's about reverse indexing. Then how do we update strings? It is not mathematical computation, right? So how do I update strings? You can use this plus symbol, arithmetic operator, to concatenate, to merge two strings. Okay, let's try and do that. So I have created S1. I would be creating S2, say is training Python program. So I have S1, S2. I'm creating S2. This is also a string. Now, if I say S1 plus S2, what would I get? I would simply get the addition of these two strings. That's S1, S2, right? Sharath is training Python programs. But there will not be any space. There is no space. So if you need space, either you give space here or give space here. Right? So let's say S2. Now if you see, there's a space. Right? So this is how we update the strings. You can also, right, try and use a specific location as well. So here if you see, okay, I'm choosing a specific value. So let me copy paste this and explain rather than retyping it. So I'm creating a string called hello world with space, and when I'm adding, it adds Python. Right, double spaces are there here, so it is adding two spaces. If I remove that double space, it gives me this sentence. But look at this. What would I get when I execute this :6? Yeah, if I do :6, what would I get? I am considering values starting from 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, HELLO. Space is also having index. So I will have to put 5. This becomes 6. So when you say :6 and -1 is taken, right? So hello is taken with space, and then you have Python. So you will get result as hello Python. So you're ignoring this part, world part. right? So this is hello world. Now, when you are doing string manipulations, right, there are these typecasting, or I should say formatted values, right? We generally call them as typecasting values. These typecasting values are very, very important. They will basically help us understand, right? I should say, what we call that? Formatting. We basically call it as typecasting only. There are different symbols that we will use, right? And basically we have these keywords which will be used for, right, interacting with the string values. Okay, these are used for string manipulations. We call them as string formatting. Okay, these are all escape characters, we can see. So let us look into a few of these escape characters which are right, regularly used. So I'm going to type this command. Okay, let's copy this and paste it here. Because the font size is larger, I would try to, so I'll say string format. Okay. So we basically looking at percentile S, percentile, then you see T, percentile D, right? These are all different characters that we need to understand. Okay, so percentile basically is used to define the parameter, or you can say it's a variable. Yeah, we call it as a variable. So we need to look into those variables here, right? S means what, T means what. So we will try and understand those things now. But before that, let's see what happens when I execute this percentile S and percentile D. D basically means integer, digit. Okay, so my aim is percentile S. So you are passing a parameter, you're saying a variable, string. S means string. Then we add that with percentile D in the string. D means a digit. So percentile is a variable and you are trying to access those variables as inputs when you are dealing with this particular data. Okay, so this is going to give us percentile S as nickel, percentile D as 65. It is automatically capturing those values, right? So that's basically your basic string formatting. All right, now okay, next we have something called as input function. Okay, now this input function is helping us to ask a user to provide input. Yeah, you're asking a user to provide input. So let us deal with this. So you'll just copy this and paste it here. Input is the function which is prompting the user to pass input, right? So let me execute this, and you see here it is waiting for user to pass an input. So I'll say sure. Only then it will, I mean, only when you give the input, it is going to consider that, I mean, it is going to take the value. read a string from standard input. The input is always string that we give, okay? By default, it takes strings. Right. Next, we can also deal with, right, various other escape characters. As I said, we'll look into those things now. Eval is a function that we are applying here, which will evaluate the value. Okay, eval. Let me type this and take the value. Okay, so input will be string. Okay, now when I say evaluate the given source in the context of globals and locals. It is verifying whether we have these values defined or not, right? If I execute this and if I say a number, it can take that number, right? Directly it can take the number. But if I give a string which is not defined here, so if I say name, it is considering the name. Why? Because name is already defined here. Name is a variable which is already defined here. So you're evaluating whether the variable is already there or not. If I execute it and if I say Python, right, I'm passing a string which is not there already. It clearly says Python is not defined. If you pass this value and give number, you can assign directly a value, right? Any number. So eval is basically checking whether we have a variable already present in particular, right, in your particular locals or global parameters. Okay, so that's basically your string manipulations with eval. And then you can also print like this. So I'm recording these variables, right? Name and weight here, I'm recording them. Okay, let me give a valid weight. Yeah. Now, if I execute this, percentile S is, as I said, a string. Okay, remember that percentile is an escape character which is used to basically say parameter. It's string formatting. As part of formatting, we have this, which represents a variable. And S means string. If you see D, then D is integer. Okay, D is integer. All right. So this is basically your eval function. Then we have triple quotes. Remember I said double quotes, single quotes or triple quotes. Your Python will understand that. Say for example, if you type this, you get the statement, right? Now let me define this as a string, okay? But I want to highlight Sharad as string. I'm highlighting that. So what is happening here when you put this? What is happening? It is treating here to here as one string, here to here as one string, right? Because of the double quotes. So you can also add another string here, right? You can put triple strings. Now you see you don't have any issue. It's taking triple strings. And within that string, you have two words or two values which you are highlighting. Either you do this, or you can also try and do this. Rather than putting a double quote here, if you want to highlight like this, put a single quote. This way it works, right? So though it treats as a string for single quotes, double quotes, or triple quotes, it keeps the difference. It understands, Python understands the difference between these quotes, single quotes, double quotes, and triple quotes. Yep. All right. Then capitalization, uppercase letters, lowercase letters, right? Arranging the data using special values. All these things can be done here. Let's try and do this. So I'm saying capitalize. This is a function which would alter the value, proper case. Basically, when you say capitalize, it is going to arrange the data into, or the first letter into uppercase letter, right? So let's define a string here. I will take a value which is in caps. Okay, all things are caps. Fine. I generally have a habit of adding the let me say Python. Okay, so I have created a string S1 which has lowercase letter. I'll say S1 dot capitalize. Capitalize. Why is it not coming? Okay, capitalize. This would take, oops. Okay, let me type it here. S1 dot capitalize. Yeah. When I execute it, it would change the first letter as capital letter. You can also do S1 dot upper. It would change the entire string to uppercase letter. You can also do lower. This will change everything into lowercase letter, right? Upper or lower. You can also arrange the data with these values. Let me show you. S1 dot center width and fill the characters with. So I'll say width is 50, comma, I want to put stars. It doesn't work, is it? How do I put a special character here? Width is integer and this is string. Okay, I have to put string. It's a string. Yeah. Look at that. Right? So it's basically taking the values and arranging that with that string value here, stars. This is for right, better manipulation, beautification of your content. This is string operations, and then we have count method. Okay, let's try and do this count method. Okay, let me take a string again, new string. Let's say S1 is equals to. Sharad is Python trainer. Anything that we have twice coming. Okay, share this Python trainer. How many times n is repeating here? We want to check that. Single letter or S is S is repeating. So I'll say substring is equals to s. You can also directly use the string, but I'm creating the string here. Now you are saying s1 dot count of, you can either say s directly like this. This would give us the count. Why is it 0 times? Strange. S1 is this, and count small s. It should count, right? If I do this, oops. Let's see. Oh, I have not defined this. Okay. S1 is Python. That's the reason why it was not showing initially. Okay. So let me say S1 dot count of percentile yes. It will show. It is repeated twice. It is yes is once here, and in is I have another yes. So it is taking the string and comparing how many times for each value it is comparing, and seeing how many times the value is repeated. Right? Either you do directly the string, or you can also give word also, right? Another substring. Both are same. Okay. Next, why we need to do a complete count? I mean, I want to find, search result. For example, you want to search for a specific content, whether that value is there or not. You don't want to search for the entire text content. So in such cases, you can say s1 dot count, right? And you search for that particular value, and you can say start and end. Okay, somebody is again, every day somebody is trying to scare me. Yeah, just for fun, guys. Make sure your cameras are right, switched on when you are in appropriate position. Yeah. All right. So I want to search for substring yes from a specific range of values. So I would say percentile s. I want to search from, let's say, this position 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let's say I want to search from 7 till last. You can give any number, let's say 30. Some number. How many times it is repeated in the entire content now? Only once. How about I if I try? I should be repeated twice, right? Because you have trainer I here. So that range of values for search can also be given. That's about your comparison, or basically counting the values by comparison. Okay, then we have is functions. Okay, these are validating functions, I should say. Okay, so what is this basically doing here is, we are verifying whether the value that you have is alphanumeric value or not. Is alnum is alphanumeric. These are keywords that we have. Is alphanumeric, is digit, and we also have something which is number, not number, is alphabet. Where is alpha? Yeah, this is alpha. Sorry, my bad. I jumped up. Is alphanumeric, is alphabet, or is digit. In the string, it checks. So, for example, if I have a string, I'm creating as 360DigiTMG. This is a string, right? Now I want to check whether this is alpha numeric or not. So the output would be Boolean operator. It says whether it is alphanumeric or not. The value is alphanumeric, right? It is containing both numbers and letters. So it should return true, right? If you say is alpha, it will fail because it's not an alphabet. Then we can also have string 2, which can only be alphabets. Now here you can say is alpha. Look at that. Is alpha. Return true if the string is an alphabet. Yes, it is not defined. My bad. Yes, it is true. Now, if you say this, right, let me execute that. If I say is string 1 or sorry, string 2 is alphanumeric, then it should give me the result as false. Alphanumeric, string 2, how come? It is Python str2 dot is okay is alphanumeric. Now this is strange. Strange. It should say false. It's not alphanumeric. It has numbers. It has numbers. How come? It is alphanumeric. Oh, okay, my bad. String can also be an alphanumeric, right? The reverse way will not work. Yeah. If I say string 1 is alphabet, then no, it says false. Right? Alphanumeric can be both numbers as well and characters as well. So it is saying true. So yeah, it's correct. My bad. Now, if I say string 3 is equals to only numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now if I say str string 3 dot is alpha. If you say is alpha, it will fail. We can also say is alphanumeric. And it should say true. You can also check with digit. Is digit. And yes, you say it is digit. Right, so these are the 3 verifications that we have. We can verify whether the values are alphanumeric or numeric or digits. Characters. That is numeric. And is digit, is alphabet, and is alphanumeric. Those are the 3 verifications that we can do. We have already done lower, upper functions, right? Now this is replace function that we can do, and post that we will see split function. Replace function is interesting code. Let me show you. It's like print command, find and replace. So I'm creating a string called, it is a string example, is really a string, is. Yeah? Let's say it is really a string, is, right? So this is basically a small string example I'm creating. You're calling it as reply. And now I want to replace the value of is with was. So if I do this, what will happen? Reply, this is your reply, and replace the value with is with was. What will happen if I do that? It is going to replace the value of is with was, but only once. The first occurrence it does that. It was string example. Say, how come it is doing all? Did I interpret this wrong? It is interpreting. Okay, by default it is doing all, is it? Okay, let me check. How do I go there? Return a copy with all occurrences. Okay, all occurrences it is repeating. Okay, this number basically is to repeat only once or twice, how many times you want. Okay, by default it is all, friends. Sorry, I got confused. All right. So we can put a count of values as well here. That count is going to define how many times you want to alter this value. So if I say reply, is will be changed to was only 3 instances. So 1, 2, and 3. So let us execute the second value. You can see 1, 2, and 3. Only 3 occurrences it is replacing the value with was. Right? Yeah. So this is your replace function. Then we have split function. Split function is very important. Let me use this. So I will, okay, this string, I'll use the string. Split function. Now I want to split this particular string which is there into multiple parts, right? I have one single string, but I want to split it. So in order to split it, you need to identify on what value you want to split. Generally, we say s1 dot split with space. So you are going to put space here. So you want to split s1 on wherever there is a space. So look at this. This is your single string. If I say s1 here, you get single string. But when you say s1 dot split, it is taking each value separately. It's creating a string. Okay, let me say s2 equal to this. You can see s2 will have 4 values, whereas s1 is 1. Right? It's partitioning. Now you can also define on how many partitions you want. So after space, you say put 1. That means only at the first space it is going to split. Invalid syntax. Why is it invalid syntax? What did I do? Separator, maximum split. Ah, okay, my bad. I have to put space here. So you're putting space here so that you get split done. And this is your S2. If you see, you get only 2 partitions done there, because you mentioned how many partitions you want, how many times you want to split it, right? So split, you can also have, let's say, sharat is Python, comma R, comma, right? Let's say ds, comma AI, comma trainer, right? I'm defining this string and I'm saying I want to split this with comma. So wherever we have comma, first comma, there it is splitting because I've mentioned 1 here. If I remove this 1, then it will split S2 into multiple objects. Wherever it has comma, right? There it is splitting it as one object. So you're going to pass what is the object based on which you are going to split the data, right? So you can also pass space here, and when you do this, like this, you get. All right, so this is about your string manipulations. So data types are done, friends. I wanted to start with conditional statements and then loops as well, but not an issue. We'll do that tomorrow. That is next week. All right. All right. Substring. No, there is no such function. Yeah, there is no such function. So that, yeah. How often do we use user-defined functions for data? Regularly. Regularly we do that. When you do data manipulations and all that, when we discuss functions, you will understand those things, Kumar. How can I save to .py from online Jupyter Org? Can you again? Okay, it's very simple. You say save the file, download as .py. If you're asking the value to be saved from Jupyter Notebook, I am not sure how do I do that. I have no idea how to do that. Let me check Jupyter Notebook, jupyter.org, because I can remember from this we can do. So what you can do is you can save your .ipy, whatever you're doing. You can save it here, and from there on you can pass it to your Jupyter notebooks in your system, and then from there you can download that IPY into .py. Here you have, but Jupyter.org I'm not sure. Still loading. Look properly, Gitanjali, it should be there. Which batch you are belonging to? PY code is not there, right? I did not share PY code. I am sharing only IPY code. This code I have shared, and just to explain line by line, I am saving it here. I am doing it in Jupyter Notebook, Spider. This I have not shared. This is not there. I'm creating it now. You have only this. Yeah. Okay, let me see if I can save this. This download visible. Okay. Not good. Not good. File new, it is opening. Save notebook as is there. If I say save notebook, okay, it is not giving any option. Then I have export notebook as HTML, Markdown, PDF. Okay, so it's not there. Edit, view, not there. Yeah, it's not there. I don't think it is available. You have to save it into your IPY notebooks only. You can save it directly to IPY notebooks, and then open Jupyter notebook in your local system, and then from here you can download it as PY. This can be done. You can explore. There should be some online options where you can directly convert IPY to PY, but PY to IPY is not possible. Directly you cannot do that. We had only one option for all assignments in LMS. I didn't understand, Anuj. What is that question? Yeah, we will be covering as part of this Python sessions only. Data manipulations we will do, right? There we'll cover that. Okay, library read. Are you talking about R code here, Felicis? Okay. What is the file? I mean, do you have Excel file or is it a CSV file? That format is something that you need to cross check. If it is showing as an Excel, that might be because somebody might have saved it as .xlsx. Do one thing, try and upload that using CSV option only and see how is it getting loaded. If it is working fine there, that means the file properties is a CSV file property only. Generally these files will get corrupted, otherwise this is the default option. This is the only option you have to load Excel file. Yeah, just try. It should work. Or if it is not working right, what you can do is open that Excel file and save as. You type save as and save it as a proper Excel file. That can resolve the problem. If there is any issues into your Excel file, that will resolve. Okay. Try saving is not working. Now, as I said, try out with CSV, right? Okay, Anuj, I understand what you are saying. Okay, I'll get 9 slots created. Okay, not an issue. We'll see how it can be done. Yeah, submission would be there in the submission section, Ibrahim. At least, is it issue resolved? Did you try with CSV option? Is it working? Okay, all right, friends, whoever wants to drop out, you may drop out. Thank you so much. Good night and enjoy the weekend. Yeah. All right, thank you.